Hello everyone, it's Sean from Cairns Real Estate TV, and this is our regular segment where we like to interview a local about a local business, and we're here today with Tom from Cosy Homes. How are you, Tom?
Good, Sean, how are you?
Not too bad. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Now we know that Cairns is a beautiful part of the world and tourism is a huge part of our industry here, and Tom is the founder of a business called Cosy Homes, so we thought we'd talk to him a little bit about who he is, what he does and how he can help. Tom, can we start with a little bit about you, who you are and how you ended up here in Cairns? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So my background initially is actually hospitality based. Started washing dishes in restaurants when I was 13 and then been managing hotels in Bangkok. I was managing restaurants in Dublin and some bit of travel ended up bringing me over here to Australia. I've been here about 10 years now in Australia, and I spent about the first 7 of that in tourism, selling trips and tours to international tourists and backpackers.
Brilliant.
And then the last 3 years is kind of where I've been sort of growing this Cosy Homes business, which is kind of a side step for me in a slightly different direction. So bought my first home and then started doing a little bit of Airbnb there, and that kind of slowly flourished into the Cosy Homes that I'm running today.
It's a very impressive business, and you told me that where we're sitting today, this was your first home that you bought when you were here in Cairns. So
yeah, that was it. I think 7 or 8 years ago I bought this house, and I started doing, obviously your first house, it's a big financial commitment, and I started doing Airbnb in one of the rooms, and then that ended up doing more rooms, and then I did an entire floor, and then I moved out, did the second floor, renovated, bought another home, and was doing Airbnb in both of them, and and then I got interest from people that I knew to sort of manage their properties on Airbnb or Booking.com or whatever.
So it's just grown from you just looking for a little bit of additional income in one room in your home to totally renovating this place because it's absolutely beautiful, and then starting to rent out downstairs. So how long has it been running in total now, Cosy Homes? Because it's a new business really.
It's a pretty new business. So this is only our 3rd year operating, as in operating, managing other people's properties. I started my own years and years ago. So this is the 3rd year, and we're up to sort of just over 30 properties now that we manage.
Well, that was going to be my next question. So in 3 years you've developed a relationship with over 30 owners, and you manage their properties for them?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just over 30. A couple more coming on this month that will take us over that 30 mark.
It's phenomenal in 3 years. And may I ask, we've got the traditional holiday let sort of management format. Why should people choose Cosy Homes over that traditional format?
So I think it goes back to that first question, sort of to start with, that I kind of have that hospitality background. So I see ourselves as a hospitality business with a real estate license, as opposed to the other way around, which means that we're very guest focused and providing that experience. And another thing that you touched on as well was the interior design of this place. So
stunning. One
thing that I do with every property that we sign up is we work from the get-go with an interior designer, and they come in for a consultation, and then we work together setting up that property, which means that we get the maximum possible yield of that property, which means we get higher nightly rates in a lot of places. Our places look a little bit more interesting than some of the others you might see on Airbnb or any of the other sites.
It certainly photographs really, really well. I mean, it's stunning.
That's the idea.
Is that a big point of the attraction side to the business as well? Is that important to you?
Yeah, for me, it's something that just kind of an interest that grew with owning my own house. It's kind of, I got more and more into that interior design thing. And you even look back at the photos of the first room that you ever put on Airbnb and went, geez, I wouldn't stay there. But now, I'm so proud of every property that we put on there,
Well, you should be. This is, and you touched on service and really giving a great experience to the guests, which I think your owners will be very proud of as well. I mean, even down to the little manuals, and because of your background in tourism here, you can offer some advice on where to go and where to stay and who to go out and see, right?
Yeah, that's it. Well, we have a full concierge service with our for our guests as well, and even things down to the welcome books. People were taking pages out of them because they were useful, so we thought brilliant. So we just put heaps of pages of every page in there. So just help yourselves, take the maps, take the guides, take them with you,
That's brilliant. So you're ever evolving to meet the guest needs, which is excellent.
That's it. And the company as well, every time there's new software or different things that you can do to improve the company, we go for that, like dynamic pricing, which basically sets different prices for every day of the year, and it goes up, and instead of the traditional method of just setting a high season price and a low season price. We have software that changes prices daily. If there's a busy weekend, the price goes up. If it's quiet,
and this is all automated. So
all
the technology is
automated,
watching the other prices in the market. If the market is empty, it increases the price, so the owner gets a better return.
Yeah, and we use similar software to assess what a property is actually worth as a short-term rental. So if someone comes to me and says, what could I rent my property for on Airbnb? I don't just have to guess. I can say, well, the data says this, you know. And,
well, that's been a great experience from when we work together. Obviously, if we sell a property, we can actually put someone in front of you, and they can get some sort of a realistic idea of what their return would be before they make an offer on the property. And are you finding that's happening a lot in the current market?
Yeah, it is. It's going well. And the good thing is, because we do put that extra effort in of setting the properties up well, making them look good, do all the dynamic pricing, I can pretty confidently say that this data will be the bottom end of what you'll be earning.
So you like to underestimate and over-deliver?
Over-deliver, yeah. As opposed to promise the world and then not come to the table, you know.
I know, I understand. Obviously, we've had a couple of challenging years here in all tourism around Australia and around the world, but particularly here, we're very much reliant on tourism, and it's a beautiful part of the world. What do you think your predictions are for 2022? Now the borders are opening, international travel is increasing. What's your view on 2022?
I think you'd be very brave to sit here and give any predictions in the sort of with the current climate, with borders opening, closing, COVID coming in and out. But we had a couple of months last year when things settled down, and it just went off. It just went absolutely crazy just before that sort of August, September, when it all shut down again. So if that's anything to go by, and this month has been brilliant the last 2 months. So since the borders have opened so far, it's been really good.
So if the borders can stay open and there's that sort of positivity, because I heard from other contacts that I have up on the beaches, that the occupancy rate when we were open was up to 90%. You know, places like Palm Cove were having some of their best returns on record, which is quite exciting if we can travel down that path this year in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, even today, this is one of only, I think, 2 properties I have vacant on this particular day.
Wow.
So, you know, right now, I'm good, I'm happy, but even with all the problems that we've had, I think most of the properties that I've got have returned quite a bit more than they would have done with a long-term rental anyway, you know, provided they're in the right area, they're set up right, and they're looked after properly, then, you know, there's no reason that you can't succeed.
That sounds exciting. May I ask as well, let's say I have just bought a home, or let's say I'm thinking about renting out a room like you started, or renting out my apartment, or renting out my house. You know, what should we do? Like, how do we reach out to you? Are there any, you know, fixed contracts or fixed costs up front? Tell us a little bit about what we should do if we want to test it and have a go with you at Cozy Homes.
So to give it a good go, you do have to give it a few months. I'd say 6 months to find out how well your house and your property is going to perform. Unless you're launching just before Christmas. We had a property I launched 5 days before Christmas and we made 12 grand in January.
Wow.
So, but if any other time of year, or if it's not before a big event, you need to give it a few months to get a good average. Just because you have to build up your algorithm on these websites, like Airbnb have their own SEO, you know, so do the other sites like Booking.com, VRBO, you have to get reviews, you have to get hits, so it takes a little bit of time to build up. So most people, what I say is we do a contract. First of all, we have a look at the property, assess whether it's suitable for a short-term rental.
And that's all free, complimentary?
Yeah, any consultation. And everything before we sign a contract is also free.
Yeah.
You never even get billed for anything. And then once we sign a contract, we tend to go on a rolling basis. So instead of going a fixed term, because people say we'll do 1 year, then you have to sign again, So what I tend to do, so how long are you comfortable taking bookings for?
Yes.
So we can take them on a 3 month, 6 month, 9 month, 1 year rolling basis.
Right.
And then, so if you decide to come off it, you've only got to almost 3 months worth of bookings or 6 months worth of bookings. So if you are going to sell your property or something like that, that normally takes a few months anyway for that to happen. So it's not normally a
and we can work that out really easily.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm having working with real estate agents as well in terms of viewings and things like that, if that's necessary.
So there's a lot of flexibility there with your experience.
There's a lot of flexibility with it, and you get to enjoy your own home as well. If you're interstate or you just have relatives visiting and you just want to enjoy your own home, you can book it out yourself.
Well, that's a big thing. We see the restrictions, especially with holiday rentals, that owners sometimes can't come at the times that they want to come. So you give that flexibility, work one-on-one with them. They can maybe, book out certain times that they want to come, and you can work around that. So you're very flexible.
Even if the busiest times are the school holidays is where they're going to make the most money. If they want to enjoy it because it's their own home, that's
their
up
choice.
to them. Yeah, it's up to them. We're still going to make money in the other months, and then once the international borders are fully open, they're going to be going abroad anyway, you know. So I'm in it for the long game, not just the short bucks. So.
Well, it's a fantastic business model. I think you've done phenomenally well in 3 years. I've really enjoyed working with you so far. Is there anything else you want to tell the locals out there about Cosy Homes, or have we touched on just enough today? Is there any other messages you want to get across today?
We do try and we are quite interested in supporting local businesses, you know. So even down to, I don't actually have one here, but even down to our gift packs are all locally sourced items, locally made soaps, candles, all things like that. So we do kind of focus on that, even buying appliances from
local
places
businesses,
that are locally owned and operated. I think that's a really big thing. With Cairns, especially being one of the smaller cities, is kind of keeping it local. And you know, we are a local business. If any of the guests ever call us up, there's no call centres or anything like that. Most of the time they get my mobile. If not,
you're on the phone till 10, 11 o'clock sometimes.
That's it. Or driving out to have a look around, making sure people aren't having a party or anything like that. You know.
Beautiful.
So we are very hands-on, and like to keep it local and support local business.
That's brilliant. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure meeting you today. Congratulations and good luck. I hope it gets bigger and bigger and bigger for you. So if you like this video, please like and share it with your community. This has been Tom from Cosy Homes, and we'll see you on the next video.